Theodisia said that she wanted to search for her younger sister and rescue her friends who were possibly taken to this tower. Theodisia sensed the aura of her race, half-demon, beneath the tower's ground. Most likely, they were taken by Swordmaster forcibly for his own purposes. Because of that, she asked for help from Yogiri and Danara so that Swordmaster wouldn't target her. Furthermore, Theodisia also wanted them to help her search for her sister. However, the possible risk faced by Danara and Yogiri is opposing Swordmaster because they have already collaborated with the half-demon race. The half-demon race is always viewed negatively by people. Then, Yogiri agreed to help Theodisia. Besides, Yogiri and Danara accidentally got involved in this Holy Night competition, so it doesn't matter if they oppose Swordmaster. In fact, Yogiri has already damaged many parts of this tower to reach the first floor. Shortly after, Rick, Lionel, and Frederica arrived at the first floor and met with Yogiri, Danara, and Theodisia. Rick admired Yogiri and Danara for successfully reaching the first floor. Then they immediately went to the initial entry point because the competition had ended. Swordmaster announced that there were 17 people who had successfully reached the first floor. Therefore, Swordmaster officially bestowed upon them the title of Holy Knight. Then Swordmaster's twin maids came, informing that the barrier of the demon god and the divine king was almost destroyed. But suddenly, there was an extraordinary tremor from the tower. Shortly after, Orgain, a follower of the demon god, appeared, asking about how to release the barrier of the demon god. If nobody tells him, Orgain will kill them one by one. Because of that, Swordmaster ordered the Holy Knights to carry out their first task, which is to fight Orgain. On the other hand, Yogiri, Danara, and Theodisia took advantage of this situation to secretly go underground. If Yogiri directly confronts Orgain, Swordmaster will surely know Theodisia's intentions. Then Orgain started killing the Holy Knights because he hadn't received the answer. Frederica tried to fight Orgain, but unfortunately, Frederica's magic disappeared instantly in Orgain's hands. Then another follower of the demon god named Lute appeared and stopped Frederica's second magic. He said that Frederica's power was not enough to fight Lute and Orgain. Suddenly, Frederica's right hand and magic wand detached, turned into candy due to Lute's power. Rick immediately took over Frederica's fight and told Lionel to calm her down. Shortly after, Lionel got an Ultra Super SSR gacha menu, and Lionel immediately used it to help the battle there. But unfortunately, what came out of the gacha was Lionel's goddess. Then Orgain and Lute suddenly greeted Lionel's goddess. On the other hand, Yogiri and the others explored the endless underground staircase. Perhaps there is a barrier there to protect something valuable beneath the tower. Shortly after, there was a sound of monster screams that caused the barrier to become inactive. And suddenly, Danara felt a black monster filled with swords passing them quickly. Of course, Yogiri was confused because he didn't sense anything. Then Theodisia found a room that was completely filled with her friends. However, she was shocked to find her friends who no longer had normal bodies. Then Yogiri instructed Danara to stay on the staircase because the room couldn't be shown to a girl like her. Yogiri also sympathized with Theodisia's friend's fate. Theodisia's friend's energy drained through experimental tubes to provide additional energy for the tower's barrier. And the demon god, they couldn't be saved, but they remained alive in that condition. This made Theodisia sickened by Swordmaster and wanted to avenge them. Then Theodisia immediately destroyed the place and killed her own friends. She was forced to do this because she didn't want her friends to suffer. Back to the battle on the first floor of the tower. It turns out Lionel's goddess is named Vahanato, and she's a longtime friend of Orgain and Lute. Upon learning this, Swordmaster immediately passes on his title to Rick because Swordmaster might die if confronting them all at once. The goddess tells Lionel that she will handle this issue by exterminating humans. Therefore, the goddess will dispel the barrier to free the demon god named Albagarma. Then Lionel asks the goddess while chatting to understand the true intentions. Albagarma's hobby is traveling around the world in this universe. The goddess doesn't interfere because it's a normal activity for Albagarma. But after some time, the goddess feels something odd because Albagarma doesn't return to the god's world. Therefore, the goddess sends many messengers to various worlds in the universe. And finally, she learns that Albagarma is sealed in this world. But the main problem is the goddess can't directly release Albagarma's seal. She needs time to manifest herself in human form. Moreover, every envoy she sends to this world is always defeated by Swordmaster. Therefore, the goddess creates a power system for someone who can ally with Swordmaster and not fight against him. The goddess chooses to reincarnate Lionel into this world because Lionel has had a rough life on Earth. With the goddess's overpowering strength, Lionel can get anything he wants. From there, the goddess can try to realize her human manifestation through Lionel's gacha. Actually, Albagarma doesn't have evil intentions. It's the power-hungry humans who create the problem. Albagarma can fulfill whatever humans wish for, but humans also have to sacrifice something for their wishes to come true. Ultimately, humans decide that the demon god must be sealed. If the demon god remains, he will annihilate humanity. Then the demon god says that if that's what humans desire, then the sacrifice for that hope is the destruction of humanity in this world. Then Lute says the demon god's barrier seems to be weakening. Therefore, the goddess wants to do something to release the barrier. But suddenly, the goddess laughs loudly because one of the strongest characters in this world, Masaki, and his subordinates are dead. If Masaki had survived, he could have easily banished the goddess from this world. The goddess is also delighted because the one who created the barrier, Iglesia, is also dead. Then the goddess takes Iglesia's heart to break the demon god's barrier. But after the barrier breaks, Albagarma suddenly dies for no reason. Although the Divine King stabbed him, that stab shouldn't have any effect because the demon god is very strong. Well, actually, it's all Yagiri's doing, accidentally killing the demon god. When they first entered the tower's surrounding area, Yagiri was the one who removed the evil aura there, and inadvertently, Yagiri's power affected the demon god. Since then, Yagiri has been acting strangely because he doesn't know anything about the situation there. He also feels guilty for killing the demon god. Then Theodisia immediately beheads Swordmaster because this is her best chance. Shortly after, the black monster Danara mentioned, or aggressor Hedgehog, attacks the goddess and searches her memories. Then the aggressor Hedgehog leaves to find more information. Of course, the goddess is still alive because she has fast regeneration power. But unfortunately, the goddess's memory becomes chaotic, and she starts rampaging there. On the other hand, Organe didn't expect the demon god to die so easily like this. Therefore, Organe immediately orders the other demon god's followers to kill Rick and the others. If there's a sacrifice, then the demon god can surely revive with his power. The Divine King immediately protects Rick and the others, while Yagiri asks Danara and Theodisia to hold on to him tightly. Yagiri doesn't want them to get hurt, and he immediately uses his power on all of the demon god's followers, except the goddess and Lute. Yagiri doesn't kill them because they don't intend to kill him. Then Danara realizes that there's no point in her holding onto Yagiri's arm because of his power. On the other hand, Aoi and Hanakawa finally arrive at the tower area, and immediately ask Rick and the others about Yagiri, while the goddess's rampage is ongoing. Aoi also helps analyze Rick to kill the goddess. Rick has to use his holy sword power toward the stab wound marks on the goddess's body. The goddess's body defense weakens after the sudden stabbing incident from the aggressor Hedgehog. After that, Aoi finally meets Yagiri in person. She's curious about Yagiri's prowess because Seon sent someone as strong as Aoi to capture him. But when Aoi analyzes Yagiri, her body trembles, and she senses a chilling aura from Yagiri. Yagiri's power can't be detected and disrupts Aoi's analysis system. That means, no matter how strong anyone's power is, no one can defeat Yagiri because Yagiri is the end of destiny. This figure takes on a human-like form and can threaten any world. No one will live anymore once Yagiri has determined their death. Then Aoi reasons with Yagiri that she only wants to bring Hanakawa to meet him. Yagiri says he doesn't need Hanakawa. Therefore, Aoi will soon abandon Hanakawa, and Aoi says goodbye to return to her territory. After that, Yagiri asks Hanakawa, shouldn't you be in the forests? Hanakawa replies that he forgot to mention that the necklace's effect doesn't last forever. Hanakawa pleads with Yagiri to trust him. He doesn't want to be killed by Yagiri. Then Rick asks Theodisia why did she kill Swordmaster. Theodisia answers that she was only avenging her race against Swordmaster. Rick has nothing to do with Theodisia and Swordmaster's issues. However, Rick wants to know more information about it because he's the new Swordmaster. Therefore, Theodisia assumes Rick will bear all of Swordmaster's sins if he's willing to know the real reason. Yagiri calms them down and tells Rick to check the condition of the underground room in the tower. That way, Rick can understand Theodisia's intentions. Initially, Rick wanted to fight Yagiri for siding with Theodisia, but the Divine King stops Rick's action. The Divine King tells him that Organe and the Demon God's followers have been killed by Yagiri, so Rick is not his match. Of course, Rick is surprised because he just learned about Yagiri's strength. Then they finally reconcile and discuss their next goals. After chatting for a while, they have the same goal, heading to the capital with different missions. Theodisia also mentions her sister's name to Yagiri and Danara, who turns out to be Euphemia. Of course, Yogiri and Danara know that name and immediately inform Theodosia about the Hanabusa city. Then Rick and the others leave by different routes. And of course, Yogiri wants to always be with Danara, who has a big breasts. After that, Hanakawa, who is still around the tower, is approached by Lute with his great anger. On the other hand, Seon receives a report that Aoi had to stop her mission and didn't want to meet Yogiri. Therefore, Seon immediately summons someone who knows about Yogiri from Earth. That person is one of the researchers from the institution's laboratory. Initially, he didn't understand the situation he just experienced. But when Seon asks about Yogiri to him, he immediately checks his device to see Yogiri's whereabouts. He is very happy because Yogiri is summoned to this world. The Earth will be saved from danger. Shortly afterward, the first gate of the Alpha Omega reopens, and the man is in a panic. Until finally, he is killed for unknown reasons. Of course, this confuses Seon about Yogiri's true figure.